Let's talk to Thomas Godfrey, though, from The Sun, because a great piece in the paper this morning from Jack Elsom. Police are set to get powers to crush troublemakers' off-road bikes, e-scooters and cars within 48 hours of seizing them. Well, I wonder how hard this is going to be. It turns out the Home Office has launched a consultation on the proposals to combat the antisocial and reckless riding and driving, which blights many communities. Thomas, very good morning to you.
Morning, Mike.
Good to talk to you. Thanks very much indeed. I mean, there's probably nobody listening to this who hasn't seen or experienced some form of sort of yobbery around all this, whether it's kids on bikes doing wheelies, in gangs of 10 or 15, whether it's scooters making a lot of noise, or whether it's the electric versions of people just going really fast and nicking stuff. I mean, there's a lot of this kind of level of crime, isn't there?
There is, and there's many people who will have had their phones snatched off them simply walking through the street by someone on one of these bikes. I mean, this morning we've heard on the radio and in the papers that the police want more funding. They say they don't have enough money to carry out some of the reforms that are necessary for the continuing work of the police force. However, they're being given more work in that they will now have to potentially crush and dispose of these sort of e-bikes that many of them bought legally, of course, e-bikes and scooters within 48 hours. And the idea behind it, the Home Office say, is that it stops the revolving door policy, where currently you have 2 weeks to claim back something that's been seized from you by the police. And if that's done in 48 hours, well, it means that criminals have a far lower chance of getting their stuff back. That's the idea behind it. But whether there's actually the level of coordination between the police, local council and the Home Office to make it work, we'll have to see if it works in practice.
I mean, a lot of these e-scooters that we can see people riding on there are illegal anyway, aren't they? I mean, the ones that you can hire are okay, but you're not supposed to be able to buy a private e-scooter and ride it on a public highway.
No, well, the number of times I see them zipping across Westminster Bridge, other parts of central London, and actually a lot of people use the pavement. I mean, I grew up in Bournemouth, a place where they have one of these pilot schemes for e-scooters. Went to university in Oxford, where they have the same, and in London there isn't really one of those schemes. But nevertheless, there's even more of them here. And many times I've been either nearly hit or seen other people nearly come into contact with them or have things swiped off them. So they are a real danger to people on the streets. And actually, the more of them that are crushed, probably the safer streets will be.
Yeah, absolutely right. And so how likely is this going to happen? Because, I mean, he loves to smash and grab things, doesn't he, old Keir Starmer? He was going to smash the gangs, the smuggling gangs. He was going to crush the fly-tipping vans as well. And now they're going to try and crush these things. And he's got a bit of an obsession about crushing stuff, but he hasn't crushed much, really, up to now.
No, and as with seemingly all of these government policies, they have to go through some convoluted consultancy phase first. So there's no action immediately, and those consultations can take months at a time, basically, to work out whether the police can actually do it, whether it's something that will decrease the rate of crime. But as with all these criminals, and this policy would apply to cars as well, as with all these policies, criminals often have means of simply replacing these things, even if they get taken off them. And so is it actually addressing the root of the problem? Is it actually going to halt criminality? Well, maybe if it's just one person with one e-scooter riding around snatching phones and wallets, but as part of an organised gang, then those people have the resources simply to just replace it.
Yeah, and I mean, who's making all the money out of these things? Because I mean, you'd have to assume that some of them are stolen as well. Some of these off-road bikes, some of the cars, I guess, that are involved in crime as well. A lot of that stuff is actually stolen. So these guys don't even own them anyway, do they?
No, exactly. And also the rate at which car thefts and bike thefts are solved is pitifully low. The police seemingly only ever recover, I think, about a third of cars that get stolen. They identify a suspect in far fewer cases, and actually the number of people who are prosecuted for stealing cars, well, you have to actually be a pretty bad car thief to get caught and banged up.
Yeah.
So in many of these cases, and it is a lot of organised gangs, it's a big supply chain where a lot of this stuff, even if it gets crushed, well, it won't be something they've bought anyway.
Right.
So actually, there's no financial loss to them.
No, of course. And we've got in the Times this morning 6 different police chiefs, management heads telling us, or telling Keir Starmer, we haven't really got the money to do any of the things that you want to do. The 13,000 extra police, the cutting down by half of knife crime, the cutting down by half of crime against women and girls. Where are they going to find the resources for this?
Well, they're not. Many pledges have been made by the government, and they can't all be fulfilled. It seems there just isn't the money to do so, and so it becomes a case of, well, who can we not fund? Is it the winter fuel allowance reversal? Is it the police? Is it the Border Security Command? Which one of those pledges has to be sacrificed? And it seems that despite the police making this plea across the radio and newspapers this morning, that they may not get all of the funding they need. Mark Rowley's been making the point for a while, actually, that inflation means the amount they have in their budget has actually decreased in real terms, whereas the population of London and other cities around the UK has dramatically increased. If the Met was to have the same resources to combat crime now as it did 10 years ago, it would need an extra £1 billion in funding. Now, where is anyone going to find £1 billion? Well, nowhere, it seems, at the moment. And so that's why their call is so important. But it looks as if it may fall on deaf ears in terms of the police getting the full amount of funding they've requested, which is why they're kicking up such a fuss.
Absolutely right. Good to talk to you. Thomas Godfrey, thank you very much indeed from The Sun. The story in the paper today on page 8 by Jack Elsom.